It is the holiday season. I have 3 kids. It's the same thing every year. I tell my parents, my wife, please don't get them a bunch of small little toys. Their playroom is packed to the brim already with toys. They have everything they need already. So I do not want to just increase the amount of toys we have. I don't think they need a million toys to have a fun and playful time. That being said, there is a recent article that just came out from parents.com. Should parents limit how many gifts kids get, including from relatives? I definitely think there should be at least some expectations set. I don't think it needs to be a hard number like 3 toys, no more, no less. But I do think there should be some things said. I mean, everyone's situation is different, but my kids, their playroom is packed with toys. So I definitely don't want 15 more monster trucks, 10 more race cars, 15 more stuffed animals. That is just not a good recipe for us. Half of it would get thrown away. Half of it they would never play with. I mean, these kids will play with a few toys and those are their favorites. I don't think they need 100 toys. I think it can be more creative than just dump a bunch of toys on these kids and let them go for it. I think there should be a little bit more intentionality with it from parents and relatives, grandparents, all that kind of stuff. So let's continue to read down. Let's see what they have to say. How much is too much with holiday gifting? According to a survey from NerdWallet, moms, dads, and caregivers of minor children will spend an average of $1,070. That's compared to $860 for adults who are not parents. In fact, 48% of parents with kids under 18 said they feel pressure to spend more than they're comfortable with. First of all, you should not feel pressured. I don't know if it's coming from yourself or other people or the culture, but only spend what you feel good about spending. Do not go over the top, especially when these kids are younger. They're probably not going to remember half the stuff they're getting for toys. And even if they remember, their favorite ones probably won't be the expensive ones. One of my son's toys is a burrito that his aunt got him, and he just loves that thing. So I don't think it needs to be something that's extravagant, extraordinary. Kids don't really care how much we're spending on the gift, to be honest. That being said, $1,070. So that's about $200 more than people without kids. I mean, $1,000 does seem like a lot of money, but if it is covering everyone, mom, dad, parents, cousins, I don't know, $1,000 in that case wouldn't be too bad. But going back to that 48% number, parents should definitely not be spending more than what they feel good with. No one knows your budget as well as you do. Keep that in mind as you go out and get these gifts. Again, a thoughtful gift can mean a lot more than an expensive gift. So instead of spending all that money on all these gifts, maybe put a little bit more thought into it. What does this person like? What does my kid like? What does my spouse like? And it doesn't necessarily need to be a $500 gift. It can be an experience, a massage, or for the kids, something fun, a camping trip or something like that. You can get creative with it, is basically what I'm trying to say. With this being said, how many presents should a child get for the holidays? Should you put a limit on kids' holiday gifts from relatives? I think there should definitely be some communication. I don't think it needs to be a hard cutoff, like 2 gifts, no more, no less. Don't you dare get them anything else. But I definitely think there can be some conversations about, hey, my oldest is getting bigger. We need some more clothes for him that fit him and stuff like that. Or maybe something like, hey, for this year, we really like to have them be gifted experiences. They love going to the zoo or the science museum, stuff like that. We'd love a membership. So we are able to, spend that time with them. And that could be a great gift for these kids. They'd probably love going to the zoo 20 times over having the 18th monster truck or the 10th racetrack. My kids are all boys, so that's basically the kind of toys that they get all the time and the ones they love playing with. And then they have a few people that they ask some questions about it. I think all these people are hosts from the Today Show. First one is Sheinelle Jones. She says, I just feel like there were some years where we were saving gifts for the next year because there were just so many. So I think in some ways, less is more. I definitely agree with this statement. I'm always thinking about what toys can we get rid of? What toys can we cycle through? And even in the closets, there's toys, whether they're unopened or toys that haven't been played with a lot. So we like to cycle them out sometimes. There's definitely some cases where we won't give them every single toy they got because it would just be too much. They'll open one and play for it for 10 minutes. But if you save that for a month or two, and they get bored with their current toys, then opening up that new toy can be a fresh, new, and exciting experience for them. So how does Jones handle gifts from relatives? I do not put a limit on holiday gifts from relatives because we don't live in the same city with most of our family members, and that's their love language. But when it comes time for the holidays, I feel like people enjoy especially while my kids are little still, buying something for their niece or their nephew or their little cousin. So with that, I kind of let that go. But as far as mom and dad are concerned, we reel it in. My family is all nearby, so it's definitely not as detached from what the reality is. So they know, like, we have so many toys, we have all this stuff, and they're getting toys even like not just on their birthdays and holidays. My parents are giving them toys, and friends and family are giving them toys, you know, on a random Tuesday, or sometimes just visiting them, they'll bring a toy just to say hello. I might have a different opinion if a lot of my family live far, but my family lives close, so I tell them, please, no more toys, please. Roker says, I think it depends on how old the child is. A baby or toddler, maybe 2 to 3 gifts. Older kids, one from mom or dad, another from Santa. I think most relatives will ask the parents. Again, age dependent. I say relatives can do what they want. They definitely can do what they want, but please do not bring all those toys into my house. Craig Melvin, we've tried for years to encourage our parents and in-laws to give the kids fewer gifts, but it hasn't worked so far. So like I said before, we'll tell our parents, please don't get them ABC because they already have a bunch of cars. They already have what they need. Here's a toy that they've been looking at maybe, or here's something that they might like instead. That's what we try to tell our parents. Again, they're just going to do whatever they want. Sometimes they still get that toy or they still get that thing that we don't need. For the most part, I do think it's helpful to communicate with them what the needs would be. So this next one's from Dylan Dreyer. She says, it has to be even because they're going to compare their pile of presents to their brother's or their sister's pile of presents. So let's keep everything even. All right, so this one I do not agree with. I don't think, just because one, spend X amount of dollars on kid A, you have to spend that amount on kid B. Or if you get, this kid 5 toys and that kid needs to get 5 toys and they both have to have the same gift. I think every kid is unique. Some kids might like clothes more than toys. Some kids might like experiences over toys. Some kids like complex toys. Some kids like simple toys. So to try to even all of that out on a scale, I don't think is very fruitful. I think the main thing is just, trying to get these gifts that will bring joy to these kids. And sometimes it can be simple. Sometimes it's complex. Sometimes it's a day with their cousins. Sometimes it's a trip to Disney. So I think it can be different things. I don't think every kid is the same. I don't think even if they're brother or sister, sure, they might fight over toys, but my first son has a favorite toy. My second son has a favorite toy. My third son's going to have a favorite toy, and they're all probably going to be different. So that's what I would say to that. Cool. So that's the article. Should parents limit how many gifts kids get, including from relatives? My answer is yes, they should be limiting them. Again, I don't think it has to be a hard rule. You don't control these people, but I definitely think communicating to these relatives, friends, and family what would be useful for your child is definitely a good thing to do. So definitely keep that in mind during this holiday season. I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Please leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you for the next one.